Except you, Luna. Up it, yeah? Coming round here, requesting and that. No thank you. Not on a Friday. How's it going, bruv? How's it going, my fellow crewman?
Alright, mate.
Lieutenant Ghost.
Lieutenant Preach. Nice to make your acquaintance.
And salutations to the captain who took us to glory today. Absolute glory. What a day. What a day. Not the best not the best viewing game as we checked back. A lot of me and Andy staring at panels, panicking and trying to get things to happen. But what a fucking game we played today. We met some wonderful people. Don't spoil the VOD. Okay. It's not the best viewing, I'll be honest with you, Zarathos, because it was hilarious. It was one of the best games I've ever played. It's certainly the best VR game I've ever played. What an absolutely tremendous day it was. Playing Star Trek Bridge Crew. Super nerdy. Fighting all them evil aliens. And doing that stuff. What an absolute glorious day. And also, as it's Friday, there's 3 streams. We've had a stream already. We've got this stream. And of course, it's Girls' Night. It's Girls' Night, y'all. Girls' Night at 8 PM. Ladies, get ready to have Girls' Night and doing all that girly stuff. Gonna be good. Gonna be good. But that's not why you're here right now, y'all, is it? Hey? It's not. It's not. He wants to feel real sad. Who wants to feel real sad? Because I've got a sad one. I have. I've got a sad one. I've got a sad one. I've got a sad one, boys and girls. Get your feels bad, man, ready. Oh. But we're going to have fun, though, because it's the nature of the show. So I think we're going to be fine. Yeah. We're going to be fine. Okay, let's start with a fun one then to set the tone, shall we? Let's have a fun one to really get into the feelings of it. I want you guys to feel good. I don't think we need names for this one because this one's an extremely short one. I think this is an extremely short one, just to kind of set the mood. All right? Yeah. Just to kind of set the mood. I'll turn the sound up a little bit. There you go. You can have a little bit more gain in my earphones. A little bit more snare. All right, then. I hope you enjoy my story, fam. I assume that means all of you guys. I know. Try not to get too depressed listening to this. This is the fun story. We good? Everybody good? Good stuff. This was around the end of the Burning Crusade. Cast your minds back, or if you weren't there, pretend, yeah? Imagination. I had been a huge fan of video games since I was a wee boy, despite my family being against video games. They're the devil. These evil lying in there, pedophiles, Andes, all kinds of terrible ghoulish monsters live within the video games, and you're not going near them.
Arsehole.
But I was always fond of swords, dragons, and cool shit. I had been playing Adventure Quest for 2 years. 2 years by this point. And I had grown tired of the clicking and RNG. See? You think WoW's got RNG. Adventure Quest, yo. Yeah? Adventure Quest. And I figured by this point that I had to find a new game to play. The only computer we had in the house, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, which you guys kind of are, that I was allowed to use. It's not the only PC in the house, but it's the only PC that he is allowed to use is a Mac. Now that's punishment, isn't it? That's just cruel. This meant that you couldn't run executable files, and it took me months to find a new game. Not that I knew this at the time, as my grandparents convinced me, utterly convinced me, that installing games was not to be done because, as we all know, games are viruses. It's just another word, right? It's just another word. Tomato, tomato. Games, viruses. Not to be installed, people, because they're just viruses. That's all they are. We clear? Good, right? Grandparents. Where do I put the mouse? Put it on the screen, right? Yeah, nailed it. Got it. I remember waiting sometimes up to 2 days to download an installer file. Not the game, the installer file for the game that I'd found, only to met with the same problem. I didn't know what to do with it. I'd almost given up hope of looking for a new online game to play when I found World of Warcraft. The day I had been told that I could, in fact, verified that I could play World of Warcraft and that World of Warcraft was not a virus. I was also seeing my friend Chloe. I set the game to install early in the morning in the hopes that it would be finished by the time we got home later that day. Twasn't. Twasn't. It took roughly 3.5 days to download and install World of Warcraft, but once it was done, I knew I was ready. I created my first character, a Night Elf Rogue. Now, I'm going to spell this out for you, okay? So if chat could join me in typing this name out, I created a Night Elf Rogue called E-X-E-N-A-R-O-T-H. You're supposed to spell the whole name. There you go. Now, I want to fill you in on a little backstory to this name. I made this character when I was roughly 6 or 7 years old. I thought this was how you spelled Sephiroth. You thought it was edgy. It goes way deeper than that. Way, way deeper than that. You go so much deeper. You've no idea the layers of edge on top of that. He thought, he was convinced, because he spelled it phonetically, right? Exeneroth. Sephiroth. Don't you see it? You don't see it? You guys are dumb, man. You guys are dumb. He's nailed it. You don't even know. Not long ago, though, after creating my character, I clicked that big red Enter World. I was in. My first quest was to find the coolest sword ever and kill bad guys. Now, we're going to run into a little difficulty here. I wasn't aware of what quests were, or that they were even a thing in the game. I just wanted to kill shit and look delicious. I remember killing the lynxes for a good 15 minutes before I decided I was going to find something else to do. I walked over to the building at the Night Elf starting area and saw that all the NPCs had really cool looking swords. Sure. So I went over and clicked one of them. I didn't know, right? I didn't know that you could right click on this computer, as I had a Mac, and by default you have to press Control and click in order to right click. And so I was met with some dialogue from the NPC, for the Alliance, Ishnula, and so on and so forth. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Not only did the game have a world that I could walk about freely, but it also had real players playing as the guards. Or so I thought. And so I began to start a conversation with him. Oh my God, Windows 10. I'm showing the stream.
What?
I'm trying to do a fucking drama story. You know what I mean?
Update your Windows, mate.
I remember trying to talk to the computer. Literally talking as if it was somebody on Skype. Asking him about his sword and stuff, only to be met by the realization that he could not hear me. This is how new I was to online games. I then went on to try and click some other NPCs, only to be met with the same random dialogue. Then I realized the chat window in the left corner. This is how I would communicate with these people. I started typing to them if I could buy the sword they had, only to be continuously ignored. I deleted World of Warcraft. Not just because of this, but because of the Mac. I never figured out how to right-click or that I should even right-click on NPCs. I never knew how to accept quests, how to open vendors, how to do anything in the game. I told my grandparents that this was what was going on, and they once again decided that World of Warcraft must have been a virus, and that it had to be removed from the computer forever. These all these elves, right? And you keep clicking, and they all say the same thing. That's a virus, sonny. It's gotta go in the bin. It's gotta go. That's a damn gum virus. That's what that is. That's what it is. They all just say Ishnu Allah. It's not even English. They don't even make any fucking sense. This one's got an exclamation mark over his head. Can't do anything with it. He just says Ishnu fucking Allah all day. All day, all night. Shame is what it is. A fucking shamaz. Is an absolute shamaz. Alright. There you go. So we're all set now. We all understand drama stories. Good. Alright. Okay. It's gonna be fine. 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 I believe in us. Right, I need a girl. Our girl. Oh, hearts go boom. My lady. Hearts go boom. I like it. Netruasin. Yeah. Netruasin. Alright, we need 2 shitty guild names. We need 2 shitty guild names. And we'll have Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby. Oh, Parappa. Feels bad. Feels bad for Parappa. I need 2 shitty guild names. Fuck off, Rhodey. No. No. And you, Top Keck. Redemption and the Count Dankulas. I like it. I'll have that. I'll have Redemption and the Count Dankulas. Redemption, Count Dankulas. Alright, got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Alright. Alright. Here we go. Hello there, preacher! And of course, hopefully, Mr. Ghost.
Oh, what up, Pledge?
I decided I tried sending in my own drama story for you to read. It's a story about my family. And World of Warcraft. My fiancée, Hearts Go Boom, and I were starting life on our own for the first time in all our lives. She was, of course, up the duff with my beautiful, beautiful baby girl and myself. Now, the way that's written grammatically suggests that you were still a fetus, but I'm going to assume that you weren't. Can't be sure. We'll bear it in mind for later. Being a soon-to-be father, working my first full-time job and doing my best to cover the bills for our new apartment, I started playing me some World of Warcraft on a private server. I grew to love the game. Hearts Go Boom, who was a gamer as well, did not play with me, but she was very interested. Months and months go by. Unfortunately, I was fired. Moved back in with my parents. We bought a couple of copies of World of Warcraft. We start out our first characters, making a Tauren warrior and a troll hunter. We had a blast, and we were on a realm with a couple of friends of ours. We were playing PvE realm, mate, and we're having good times, even meeting brand new people. We met an alliance player who helped us kill some elite mobs, and he made a horde character just to talk to us and invited us to play on the alliance with him. Of course, our other friends weren't very active, So we took that leap. We decided to make night elves because of their bouncy nature. That's new. Never heard that before. Bouncy nature. Bouncy nature.
They're a little bit bouncy.
Little bit bouncy. They do flips. Flips for days, mate. The bouncy night elves. I feel like Dinosaurs is just all these bouncy night elves. And we decided, of course, on a rogue druid combo. We played every day together. And by this time, our little daughter was born. We would hold our little girl in our lap and she would watch all the colourful things on screen. And we met many great people. Unfortunately, our Alliance friend that convinced us to go Alliance to play with him ended up being 13 years old. And was extremely clingy. After he had a complete meltdown one day in guild chat, Hearts Go Boom and I decided we would make our own guild, a couples guild, and run it how we see fit. Yeah, that's it. 13-year-olds, meltdowns, time for a couples guild. It's the only solution. We managed to get a few signatures, but couldn't get all of the signatures we needed very fast. One of the guys who signed our list, his name was Netrusen. He gave us a handful of gold to hand out to people who signed the charter. We started spamming trade, offering 1 gold per signature. That's cash, people. That's in your hand. The signatures started rolling in until we had just 1 signature left. And we couldn't find anyone else to sign. We spammed and spammed, but we got no hits. Finally, I decided we would up the buying price for a signature. Oh, you guys are impressed by 1 gold. Raising the stakes now, people. After thinking about it and talking for several minutes, we decided we would offer 10 gold. So 10 times multiplier, people, for the final signature. Someone replied, and we had our charter signed within minutes. And redemption was born. Hearts Go Boom and I were great guild leaders. The best, as far as we knew at the time. And we had gathered a good group of people under our guild banner. We were small, social, like family. Yeah? Like family. We were still leveling up, so we did advertise our guild as a leveling guild. Our highest member was Netrusen. He was level 40 at the time. And he would help us run dungeons off and on when he was about. But one day, however, we met Charles. Hearts Go Boom and I were looking for a group, and Charles offered to run us through our dungeon because Charles was farming cloth. The run went smooth, and this was when Charles became our new best buddy. He was capped. He had great armor. He took me under his wing and showed me all of the different websites. Everything from Alakazam to Thoughtbot. Do you remember Alakazam? Eh? Eh? Do you remember Alakazam? That's a blast from the past. He solo ran me through dungeons so I could get looks and extra gear while he farmed cloth. He told me grand stories of raiding and his time spent in Alterac Valley, farming honor and ranks so he could get the gear he needed to make him do well in raid as a feral off-tank unbalanced druid. He told me he had made his own spec that allowed him to do both pretty well. I would like to have seen that spec, Charles. I would. I would desperately have liked to have seen that talent build. I think that would have been pretty. And that would have been good. I was intrigued and excited for Endgame, where I felt like the real game would begin. At this time, I was traveling from level 30 to 40 together with Hearts Go Boom, and we were inseparable. One day, however, a guildie wanted some help with a quest. At this time, I was torn. I didn't want to be unsupportive over my guild, but at the same time, I couldn't be asked. I felt I had done a lot to support the guild, between farming bears for leather for people doing lobby dungeons. I felt like I was being held back in my personal growth as a player. It was at this moment that I let Hearts Go Boom know that I was going to go and do shit on my own while she helped them. We were both cool with this because she, you see, gave a shit about the social aspect, and I didn't, and wanted to get on with progression and, you know, completion goals. I still wanted to spend time with my wife, of course, and I often invited her along as Charles ran me through things or to do quests, but in her eyes, the guild came first. Above all else, above her own leveling, above all that, guild first. Now, don't get me wrong. There were many times I would take time from questing solo or being run through dungeons to do things with Hearts Go Boom. On one of those occasions, we met a warrior named Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby thought he was the bee's knees of a warrior. He had Grand Martial armor, and I couldn't argue. I'll admit, I thought he was the tits. I only knew one other person who had some of the armor, and that was Charles. Ricky Bobby ran us through many quests, and at one point even convinced Hearts Go Boom how great it would be to get to max level. But as usual, for her, the guild came first. But now, she was getting more and more interested in actually capping her character. Unfortunately though, Charles and Ricky Bobby, they don't get along very well. Charles was very grounded, down-to-earth kind of guy, salt of the earth, yeah? Real legend. Ricky Bobby is cocky as a motherfucker. He's a real piece of work. His idea of fun was dueling lobby players in his PvP armor. He's the kind of player that would only duel if you were lesser geared or considerably lower level than he is. Charles had an offer to run Hearts Go Boom and I through the coveted Razorfen Downs for loot and experience. Ricky Bobby said he wanted to tag along because he really liked playing with Hearts Go Boom, and he was bored if she was going to be going doing that. Ricky Bobby did not really understand the point of these runs. Ricky Bobby was difficult to tolerate. He would run way ahead of everyone else and loot everything to himself, screwing us out of the drops and Charles out of the cloth. After a few resets, we came up with reasons why we had to stop for 5 minutes and maybe drift apart and go and do something else, you know what I mean? I'm busy, dinner and that. I'm going to get a drink and then maybe going to do something else, you know what I mean? I'm just like, you know, I'm just thinking like that. Maybe that's enough for today, you know? So I tell you what, I'm going to go for the piss. Maybe think about doing something else. No, it's nothing to do with you, but you should definitely not be a part of the group anymore, is all I'm saying. You go and do your thing, right? You go and do your thing, and I'll do my thing. And then maybe, you know, we'll team up later on or something like that. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. Charles and I went and did our own thing while Hearts Go Boom. And Ricky Bobby went and did their own thing. Being annoyed with him, I decided from that day on that I didn't really want to play with Ricky Bobby again. However, that also meant not spending as much time with my lovely lady, Hearts Go Boom. Because Ricky Bobby and her had become great friends due to a love of the same music, and she liked his personality. Eventually, I finally made it to level 60, y'all. At this point, I was the only level 60 character in my guild. Hearts Go Boom being close behind, somewhere between 40 and 50, Charles and I had discussed getting geared for raiding and trying to get me into his guild. I didn't want to leave my guild. We built this guild from the ground up. It was important to both of us. So I sat down with Hearts Go Boom. I explained to her that I wanted to give raiding a try. I want to slay those giant dragons. I want to play with all those people in epic clashes of battle and will and skill and war. She gave me her blessing. As long as, when it was time, listen, go. She gives him the blessing. Go. But when it is time, you must doth return to help us with raiding when we are ready. That day I made her the GM of the guild and I G-quit and I joined my buddy Charles in the Count Dankulas. Good name, y'all. Good name. In the next few weeks I was geared and attuned for Molten Core. Over the next few months I was being trained by their rogue class leader on the art of endgame rogue rotations in vanilla. Slice and dice. Slice and dice. Adrenaline rush. Slice and dice. Eviscerate. Slice and dice. Alright? Very, very fine art to it, alright? Now what you want to do is you go from 1 to 5. No, that's 4. 5 combo points. Yeah? Think about it. 4 would be less. Can't have 6. You're aiming for 5. That's where you want to be. If you get to 5, you're doing it right. You're all right. You're good. Okay. I started doing rep grinds and Sholomance runs with my new guildies, making friends wherever I could. I was so excited every night that we went into Molten Core and Onyxia's lair that I verbally shared my excitement with my love, my Hearts Go Boom, who was sitting across the room on her laptop, hanging out with her friends. I would raid with my child on my lap and play with her in between, which, as most of you should know, it's not an easy thing to do, but I love my little girl and I was determined to introduce her to all the cool things as early as possible and foster an interest in killing digital monsters. Of course, as all things go, when not using what we call moderation, which I'm a fan of, Hearts Go Boom became withdrawn. She made it clear that she was not pleased with me spending so much time on the game. When I said that we played the game equally... Aren't you playing too over there? She did what all men fear. She played the daughter card. He said I wasn't spending enough time with our daughter. Bastard. Andy!
Yes, mate!
Ever had the daughter card played on you? Not spending enough time with your daughter?
No, mate.
Neither have I. You
Go,
know,
Dad. You too, mate.
Times 2. Times 2. I said I played with her every single hour she was awake, and if we had a raid, I would play with her mid-raid and she would sit with me. To this day, I'm pretty sure that she was actually upset, that I was spending time in-game but not with her, even though we were both playing. Which to me would have been a bit more reasonable argument to make, but I digress. This one hurt more. Things were not going well, but I was too oblivious to tell. Eventually, we found out how to set up our own vent server. Or TeamSpeak, I can't remember which one it was. And we invited our friends into it. This was also the first time we heard Ricky Bobby talk. His voice was what many people globally would describe as squeaky. Squeaky is the word. It was
say that in Destiny, mate.
Higher pitched than I would expect.
When we're getting a guild, we always suffix it with no squeakers.
No squeakers. Yeah? No squeakers. Very high pitched. He continually used the word like a lot. Like a valley girl from the movie Clueless. Hearts Go Boom spent more time on the game with Ricky Bobby, and it even bled over into phone calls, not just vent conversations. Once it became late night conversations, however, I became concerned, and rightly so. One night, Hearts Go Boom was laying on the couch in the living room and it got quiet. My concern was growing at this point, so I came out of the room, stopped short of the corner of the hallway, and that's when I heard Hearts Go Boom, my fiancé, my love-to-be, my wife-to-be, the mother of my children, say, I love you too. I barreled around the corner and looked at her. I was shaking. I was furious. Who are you talking to? And I turned up my voice real deep like to make it sure it wasn't like Ricky Bobby's. Who are you talking to, lady? Knowing it wasn't her mother or her father at this late hour. My mom, she told me. I risked it, grabbed the phone from her and asked who it was. They stayed silent. Clearly whoever it was too full of cowardice to speak up. I looked at the phone number on the phone screen. It was an out-of-state number. I hung up the phone, threw it on the couch. I was angry, and Hearts Go Boom could see that. I demanded she tell me who she was speaking with. How could she do this to the father of her child? The person who she had said she loved more than anything, with the exception of our daughter. Jesus Christ, she made an exception. I love you so much, except for her. Right? I'm just going to needlessly add that in. Like, it's not a given. I just want you to know, for sure, that it's not as much as her. I want to be clear on that. I just want to make sure we're all clear. I don't want you to get any misunderstandings, right? I know it's a given in most relationships, but I just want to point it out specifically so you know that you are definitely number two, right? No confusion. No confusion. She cried. I cried. I yelled. She tried to calm me down, but it was a short conversation. She told me it was over. She loved Ricky Bobby. She had already planned it all out. Already made the plans. Just moving back home with her family until she could save up enough swag cash to move in with Ricky Bobby. I was dumb, however. I begged her to stay at least for another month. 4 weeks. That's all I'm saying. 4 weeks. Christmas was coming. I wanted to spend the holiday with our child. She agreed to stay. At this point, raiding was minimal because everyone was on Christmas break. So I was spending more time away from the PC, which worked out for me because I got to spend a whole month doing stuff with our kid. Of course, Ricky Bobby thought he had won the heart of my woman. What he was not aware is that she ain't gone yet. She ain't gone yet. We were still sleeping in the same bed. And we still had needs that poor Ricky Bobby was unable to fulfill. Christmas was getting close. I had made friends with a woman at work. We started skipping work to go to my place and hang out. Hearts Go Boom began to think that she and I were an item, which we were not, as she was much older than both of us. Oh, dude, you turned up with a granny? Hey, you still here, though? Because I already got me some prime beef, yo. I'm good. I'm good. Isn't she like 50? Like, what's going on? What's happening? This is what you brought home? Jesus Christ. And upon hearing this, my friend knew that Hearts Go Boom was jelly beans. And so she did her best. Oh, is that older lady? She did her best to become friends with her as well. They had what I was told, as described, as a girl talk. Sounds fucking horrible, doesn't it, boys? Can't imagine anything worse. What's worse, getting dumped or being in the middle of a girl talk? A lot of feelings in there. Run away. Look at the boys. Run, run, run for your life. It's going to get emotional and shit. Oh, God. I don't want to be in a conversation that needs tissues. This is fucking crazy. And after the girl talk, Hearts Go Boom and I became closer again. Can we rescue it? Can we? Can we rescue it? One night, she was going to my friend's house for a girls' night sleepover. See, I've seen these videos of online of these girls' night sleepover, and I'm not sure whether they're chicanerous and a bamboozlement, or whether girls need a regular lesbian outing to keep things fresh. I don't know. It's one of the two. It's either these videos are lying to me, or sleepover is this sort of ritualistic lesbian outing that women have to do every now and again. I don't know. Can we take a vote? We literally drink wine and watch Dirty Dancing. It's not what I watched. It's not the sleepovers I've... Like, are we convinced that Bang Bus isn't real? I don't know. I mean, I want to live in that world where it kind of is. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm confused by the whole thing. I've never been to one, really. The only vision I have of it is from outside produced things. I just don't know. I'm very confused at this point in life. Girls have slept here before, but I was here, so was it a girls' night? There was no lesbian things. I mean, it was a standard orgy. Anyway, moving on. One night, she was going to my friend's house for girls' night sleepover. Before she left, as she was packing, I asked her if we could... Hearts Go Boom. Before you go out for your ritualistic lesbian orgy, I have to ask you one thing. Look me in the eye, woman. Look me in the eye. Can we ever be together again? Can it be me and you once more? Can we be a family again? He's making his play for it, boys. He knows she's going out anyway. She's going to bring it up. Girls in the chat, query for you lot, right? One of your girlfriends is coming over. She's planning to leave her fella, take the kid more than likely. That's the world. Sucks. But there's a chance. There's a chance. She's never even met Ricky Bobby. He's a squeaker, right? Things aren't looking great. What's your advice, girls? Does she stay or does she go? The eternal question. Does she stay or does she go? I know. I can't trust the lad's opinion because we're like, fuck that. Ricky Bobby. Squeaky Bobby. I know. Maybe. Move. My advice, you fucking moron. The Clash. I don't know. This sounds like a girls' night. Drink wine, watch Dirty Dancing. Shut up with all your problems. Look at Swayze, though. Swayze chest. She and Ricky Bobby were still a couple at this time, but they had never met. I didn't care. She told me she would talk to me about it tomorrow when she returns from the girls' munching night out. Girls' night out, sorry. Later that night, after I put the baby to sleep. What a gent, you know what I mean? She's out, she's having fun with the girls. He's at home, putting kids to bed, you know what I mean? Doing the fucking honourable thing, man. Being a gent. Probably put that baby to sleep like 2 hours early, though, so we could get on WoW. What time is it, Dad? Oh, it's at least fucking 9 o'clock or something. But it says 5 on there. Ooh, clock's broken. Nightmare. Bed, though. Bedtime, though. Same night. After I put the... I've never done it. I would lie if I said I haven't thought about it. I'd lie, especially in winter. It goes dark at like 3 o'clock. You can get away with all kinds of shit. Yeah, well, kids are stupid, man. They think it's nighttime when it goes dark. Winter, yo. It's nighttime all day. It's fucking awesome. Okay. So the same night, she called me and we had a talk. Oh, God, on the phone. Pussy or not pussy? Phone call. She had decided she was going to end her relationship. if we have to do that. Her relationship with Ricky Bobby. We were going to be a couple again. I was beyond happy. I'm going to tell you now, chat. It says this in the story, by the way. I cried. Not the good kind of crying. I had ugly crying going on. It's worth a Google. It's definitely worth a Google. Ugly crying. What does ugly crying look like? It's the first one, so I'm going to take it. Ugly crying. Definitely involves some kind of snot, right? It definitely involves some kind of snot. This mucus definitely laid out for this one. It was disgusting, but I had won this fight. I had kept my family together. It's a victory, boys. We're rescued. We're back out of that. Over the next few days, our relationship was amazing. Shiva began ignoring Ricky Bobby, blocked him because he wouldn't fuck off. We went back to playing our Horde characters together. We accepted that we didn't care that one person had different goals in the game. We only cared about the time we spent outside of the game, right? Outside of the game. Months went by. Months and months, and all was sweet. All was sweet. One day, though, we got an unexpected visit from Ricky Bobby in-game. He had made a new character with not his usual emo edgelord name, but with a new mushy name. He was making attempts to get in contact with her, which I wasn't pleased with. But I let her go on because I now trusted that she would do the right thing after all we'd been through. I trust you. It was when you said you were leaving me that I knew the bond between us was solid. Yeah. That was the point. That was it. Yeah. She told him the relationship was over, yo, and that she has a family to think of first and foremost. He seemed to get the hint. But it also seemed that it was just a ploy to keep her in contact so he could work the mind games he had worked on her before. A few months went by again. Over a year at this point. And she had a doctor's appointment near her mother's. Told me she would be going to go to her mother's house. She was going to take the daughter so her mum could see her. And then she'd be back tomorrow. No worries! I gave them hugs and kisses and saw them out the door. The next day, she didn't show up at all. I called her. No answer. Eventually, she answered, dodging my questions about how her doctor's appointment went. I said, "What's wrong?" She got quiet. And told me that we were through. She'd been talking to Ricky Bobby for a while. And she did legitimately have a doctor's appointment, but she used it as a reason to leave without me being any wiser so that we wouldn't cause a fuss. She told me she would be back the next day to get all of her and our daughter's things. And that was it. He was gone. A few months later, she moved out of state to live with Ricky Bobby. Don't be too sad, though. In the end, I did realise that, you know, I didn't really like her that much. But we did have a kid. My daughter and I stay very much in touch, and I do with Hearts Go Boom. Mostly because of the sake of our child. And I am actually engaged to a brand new loving woman who has an absolute gorgeous love for all things heavy metal and gaming. And I'm happier than I could ever have been with her. Thank you for reading my drama story, where I lost my fiance, got her back, lost her again, and then found the actual love of my life. Boom! Yeah, he was a young lad. You see, try not to have a kid when you're super young. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. So if you do, work through it. It's all right. Update from Asmon. For those worried about me cutting myself during shaving, I used to literally shave the acne off my face when I was like 14. What up, Zach? Why share? Too much. Gross. Anyway, there you go. There you go. There you go. I don't know. The hell? I thought the same too. Anyway, right, we got one quick story to finish up with here today. God bless. If in doubt, just shave it off, yo. It's all good. Yeah, well, all right then. I need to get this picture ready. Okay. I need a wife character. Who's our wifey for today? Who's our wifey? That's what I was opening when I saw that tweet. Where are we? Who's our girly for today? It can be Faldrillin. Don't worry if you're not a girl. We cycle through the names. Don't worry. They'll come back. Faldrillin. Faldrillin. It kind of sounds like Fallon. It's a girl's name, right? You see where I'm going with that? Yeah. Alright, good. I could be. Alright, you ready? Alright, the cast of this story, Preacher. Alright. Dear Mike and Ghost. Yeah. Before I get into what is now the 4th story I've written you over the years, we are in season 4 of Drama Time. You gotta remember that. We're in season fucking 4 of this show. Before I get to my 4th story to you, I have to say the moment you realized how old I am 37, compared to some of those that play with us in WoW, I never saw the physical manifestation of painful realization of how old we all are as I did in that instance. Yeah. I think the worst moment for me recently was when I realized there are literally, above the terms of service, people who are younger than the guilds they're in. That's terrifying as fuck. That's really scary. That's really scary. But our man sent himself a picture. You ready for the bants? Ready, Andy? You know he's up for some bants. You know he's up for it. I'm going to have to stick that on the wall. Alright. I mentioned this is my 4th. I wrote in with other stories such as the Swamp Donkey Wife, the Stalking Swingers, and my thieving roommate while stationed in Korea. Do you remember that guy? He nicked the router. I remember that story. The fucking guy on base nicked the router. Bastard. And yes, your judgmental chat, everything I said he did in that story was factually true to the detail. Yeah, I remember. I remember. This guy's all the bants. It's this guy. He's the bants master. He's military, people. Extra bants. Extra bants credit. This story involves my wife and myself talking shit to each other while raiding after a newer guild member received loot over a veteran. I need to mention the newer guild member was a female and the other older a male. These two people are of no importance to my story other than setting up a bet with my wife. To my surprise, now I'm going to warn you, this author is known for his bants. Brace yourselves. This story involves my wife and my... To my surprise, my wife did not believe that all the admiration, first request to join groups, extra loot, more than her fair share, were due to her being the lesser gender. Brackets, shots fired. That's you, that.
Why is it me? I resent that. Why is it me? Explain your shade.
As soon as I read this, I was like, all right, okay, I'm going down this road. I reminded her of my GM's wife from my first story. She thought of that as just a crazy bitch situation. I asked her if she ever got yelled at or blamed for a wipe with people who knew she was a real woman. She said no, but credited that to them being understanding and just plain nice people. No, you're right, I never seem to get any trouble from people who know I'm a woman, but I think that's just because everyone's just a generally all-round good egg, right? Just full of good, nice people, and I like it. I made a deal with my wife to prove that being a privileged man in this male-run world, and where a man's opinion is all that matters... You'll like this line, Andy.
Oh, mate.
I made a deal with my wife to prove that being a privileged man in this male-run world, and where a man's opinion is all that matters, does not extend to absolutely everything.
But it should.
But it should. But it should. Okay, but it should. I came up with the guidelines to this, what we're going to describe as a social experiment. We were both to make female characters as alts, with the goal to get into a cesspool guild. This was to ensure that only the most pure testosterone-driven men would be seduced by our clever names. My wife agreed to this, and I agreed to help sell it that, yes, I was a woman, but told her it won't be hard because being an intelligent man, I understood our gender more than her fragile female mind. This sounds like a man and wife conversation
like
for
a man
real.
I'm meeting the spoons for a pint, this mate.
Spoons.
Spoons.
Spoons. Spoons.
Getting them in.
Lloyd's. Is that a Spoons? It is. It's got a different name, but it's still a Spoons. It didn't take long to be approached by well-intended proper men. By not too long, I mean we had literally just spawned into the game and both were receiving tells asking if we needed gold, help, guilds, if we were really like our names, and so on. As you can imagine, they have very feminine names, alright? So that's the basis of this.
Michael.
Well, I thought this would be enough to get her to concede. She would not sit up. She would not sit down to it. No submission. She wanted me to con someone into giving me something that could not easily be traded back. Raid loot. From someone. This was during the Burning Crusade. So there was no trading it to someone else if the raid I achieved my goal. If I couldn't trade it afterwards if I achieved my goal. The climb up as a rep paladin during... TBC was an experience that had I been a guy, that if I had been a guy, I would have not been able to achieve. Just mentioning how much I liked a piece of gear because of how it looked would sometimes lead to our superior gender giving my female toon much needed gear. That was at the best a minimal upgrade for me. We were lucky enough to get into the best guild ever. One that was pretty much known by the upper echelon of the raiding community as a guild they could and would send recruits to in order to gear up without them having to waste their fucking time. This is to say, Kara was all they ever saw, and they were always eager to get new members to keep up their hamster wheel of raiding. Now, this is the time I should mention what helped me sell myself as a weak and defenseless woman. Nudes. Of course. Sold. It's the nudes. Thank you, Internet, for a treasure trove of poorly shot nudes. This allowed me to incentivize those who were into helping me out. One raid night, the stars aligned and the light shone upon me from heaven. After a few wipes, we were able to overcome the most troublesome encounter. The chess event. Never forget. The loot was shown to the raid. One piece was the caster shield and the other was the one-handed tanking sword. Both pieces were upgraded to our tank and resto shaman. But my character loved how they paired together. I told them both separately how much I loved how their potential looked and I would love to have it. I promised them each that if they did, that they would have a surprise in their email, which I sent to you as well, and you may share if you wish. So they expected nudes. What they got, of course.
Fucking Bandmaster.
It's so fucking good. It's so good. Hey, is there going to be a picture here? Out fucking played. As promised, after the raid, I sent them their surprise. As soon as the tell saying what the fuck came in, it was the moment my wife and I logged off and deleted those characters. Never got to see the rest of the Fallout, and to be honest, didn't fucking care. To be honest with you, I was so disgusted by the whole thing, I made another deal with my wife. She would not bring this story up, and I would not tell her she was wrong. Well, that was until recently, when I lost another bet and had to submit this to you since I lost. But that's a different story for a different setting. And we want that, don't we?
We do want
we
that.
We do want that, don't we? We do. All of us here, we want to know that. Guys, if you're into a girl in your guild, go rub one off before agreeing to any loot trades. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nah, I'd rather have the loot now. It's sad how easily our dicks control us, and that the thought of some of the shit these dicky do's when your stomach's... Alright, a dicky do, if you didn't know, is when your stomach sticks out further than your dick does. Ah, would say to me, will have me drinking heavily. Thanks for entertaining you, bring all of us. Look forward to everything you boys put out and hope to get to PreachCon sometime in the future. You have to come.
You have to do
it. You
it.
have to come. You have to come. Personal note, I extend my condolences for the terrorist attacks recently. Thank you very much.
Do you know what, mate?
Thank you very much.
Yeah?
What?
Bants, patriarchy, funsies. He's a keeper.
You're hired.
He's a winner.
You're in.
He's a winner.
You're in. This guy says, ladies and gentlemen, that just brings to the end of this week's drama time. Another week, another day has passed. Indeed, indeed. And Emma will be with you in like 3 hours. 3 hours, 15 minutes. She said 8:15. I think she's got the gym before she starts. Your guild just went 10 out of 10. Tremendous. Congratulations, my friends. Congratulations. Is Tomb on Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, isn't it? I thought it was 20th.
Is Tomb on Wednesday or is it another week? Have we got another farm week or is Tomb coming?
No, mate.
I can't remember. I think so. I can't remember. Oh, sorry, Ashbog. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay, we got another farm week. Okay. So other than that, look out on Patreon. How close are we to doing that? Do we need to do the Patreon video? Where are we
need to do the ending, and then it can be out on. Well, I can come round and finish it this weekend at some point.
Yeah, Emma's out tomorrow, so we can get it out on Sunday, maybe. We'll try. We'll try and get it out on Sunday. Other than that, so a lot of our videos coming out over the next few days. Should be good. If you're... Other than... Yeah, that's it, I think. Yes,
Oh,
we're good.
Go and watch that Star Trek VOD. It was fucking mint.
I don't think it's that good to watch, though.
The intro bounce is where we scared everyone off, mate.
Yeah. Go and see how a guild trial process works live on Star Trek. That's how it works. Have a good weekend, guys. We're not going to see... hope to see many of you tonight. See you soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.